Recently, news was released that the Venezuelan government conducted a referendum regarding the annexation of the western region of Guyana, known as Essequibo. The accumulated tensions between the two countries could lead to a military conflict. Taking into account the resurgence of old conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine over the past 5 years, we can anticipate that new shockwaves may be on the horizon. Let's try to understand the nature of this conflict and its potential outcomes. You are watching the channel Clausewitz Chronicles. Let's begin. Essequibo is located in the northwestern corner of South America. It is covered by rainforest, comprising about 90% of its area. This territory has an area of 159,000 square kilometers and comprises 70% of the Guyanese population. However, only 12% of its population lives in the region. Predominantly, Arawak Amerindians, linked to the indigenous peoples of the Caribbean, inhabit this area. Despite its low population density, Essequibo is rich in oil and gas reserves. The exploration of these resources led Venezuela to revive its previously dormant claims to the region. The territory of Essequibo was inhabited by the Arawak and closely related tribes in the pre-Columbus era. The first European empire to take control over the territory was the Spanish Empire. During the 16th century, Dutch colonists established settlements here. As they were part of the empire and the Netherlands was not independent itself, it did not cause any problems. It was recognized by Spain as a Dutch territory as a result of the 80 Years' War. During the Napoleonic Wars, due to the loss of control, the Netherlands ceded the territory to the British Empire. In 1819, the Spanish colonial empire began to lose its American territories and the Gran Colombian Republic was established, which later became the Venezuelan Republic. In 1831, the region completely fell under British control, who established their own colony, British Guyana. The Venezuelan Republic claimed that those lands should be inherited by them because they changed hands during colonial agreements. Moreover, as they fought against colonialism as a philosophy, they argued that these territories should also be given to the real oppressed native population, whom they considered themselves as representatives. These tensions led to the 1899 arbitration over the region. The arbitration tribunal determined the boundary line between Venezuela and British Guyana. This decision significantly favored British Guyana, awarding the majority of the disputed territory, including the Essequibo region, to British Guyana. Initially, Venezuela accepted the arbitral award. The decision was seen as a resolution to the long-standing dispute over the territory. In the mid-20th century, Venezuela began to contest the validity of the 1899 arbitration. Venezuela claimed that the arbitration process was influenced by collusion between the Russian chairman of the tribunal and British officials, rendering the award unjust and invalid. In 1962, decolonization and rising nationalism within Venezuela led to the conflict being resurfaced when Venezuela renewed its claim over the Essequibo region. When Guyana gained independence from the British Empire, it inherited the territorial dispute as well. The Geneva Agreement was signed the same year by Guyana, the United Kingdom, and Venezuela to find a peaceful solution to the dispute. The Commission was unable to reach an agreement, but both countries agreed to resolve their dispute peacefully. In February 1967, Venezuela vetoed Guyana's request to join the Organization of American States, OAS. The Venezuelan government also attempted to sabotage Guyanese plans for the development of the disputed region. With Venezuelan support, part of the indigenous population staged an uprising in the southern part of Guyana Essequibo. On January 2, 1969, the rebels launched a surprise attack on a Guyanese police outpost, and several officers were killed. The Guyanese government struck back at the rebels using police and military forces. The Venezuelan government acknowledged that some of the militants had been trained in their country and that it would continue to offer refuge to the rebels. After these events, Venezuela found itself in diplomatic isolation, unable to even secure support from its neighbors in Latin America. In 1970, international pressure on Venezuela led to the signing of a peace agreement. Guyana and Venezuela agreed to impose a 12-year moratorium on the dispute. The agreement could be automatically extended if neither country declared its intention to review its terms. The conflict escalated last time, in November 2023, during the clashes between the forces of the Bolivarian Republic and Guyanese. If we set aside anti-colonial sentimentalism, there are really two main motives behind Venezuelan claims. The first is to shift the focus of Venezuelan society to an external enemy. As we know, Venezuela is currently under the authoritarian regime of Maduro. As a result, the country is under harsh sanctions, making it unable to sell its own oil reserves. So, the Venezuelan economy is suffering a lot, and Maduro is redirecting the accumulated aggression towards its neighbor. By doing this, Maduro will feed local nationalism through war, and their political potential will shift its focus. The other motive is purely economical, to obtain the natural resources of the region. There is also an indirect effect of Venezuelan hostility to harm an American ally whom they consider to be Guyana. As mentioned at the beginning of the video, the territory is sparsely populated, which makes it easy to invade, especially if Venezuelans can concentrate enough forces on the border. Venezuela, with its population 30 times larger, apparently intends to take control of the region if no one interferes. The National Bolivarian Armed Forces include more than 300,000 soldiers, including regular and irregular forces, which is almost 100 times more than the 4,000-strong Guyanese army. In the case of tanks and aviation, there is also an apparent Venezuelan. We should also take into account possible Russian assistance to the Venezuelan army staff. They apparently will use Russian experience from the Ukrainian war, such as the mass usage of Iranian or Russian drones. Of course, Guyanese should not be pessimistic, because when news about the referendum was released, Brazil sent its armed forces to the border with both countries. Potential Brazilian interference can change the political situation and even shake the long-standing stability and security in South America. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like and subscribe.